Hi there and welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. I'm IceMan and today we're going to be doing a champion guide on one of the new champions to the game as of January 2021, depending on when you're watching this, and her name is Sanguinia. She's a magic affinity champion, epic support with the Sacred Order. I'm going to learn to talk in one of these videos, I swear I will. I'm going to have to take elocution lessons or something, very obviously. But yeah, when I finish mumbling my words and fumbling my English language, we'll get onto it. So yeah, very cool looking champ. She's got this cool sort of spike hammer mace thing going on. I wouldn't really want to see that used on somebody. Very cool armour, very nice look to her. So let's take a look at her abilities. Red Punishment attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 20% chance of decreasing the duration of random buffs on the target by 1 turn. This is actually a pretty cool A1. Obviously, if you can book it up, you're better off doing so. Unfortunately, I didn't have a load of books to put into her, so I've managed to level her up fully, ascend her, gear her, but I didn't have the books to put in her, so unfortunately you're going to see her unbooked. Bear that in mind. But you got a 3 hitter, which isn't bad. So in some respects she's viable for the Fire Knight, but she is going to be the weak affinity on Fire Knight. So she's got a triple hitter to help get you through the shield, and she's a support champion, so she's going to help your champions get there. But obviously being weak affinity, I mean, she's not a damage dealer anyway, so the fact that she's doing the other parts will still help you out to a degree. It's not something I've personally trialed because she was weak affinity. I didn't bother going there, but thinking about it, with a 3 hitter on her A1, it does make her viable as a support champion on there to help you do that. And anyway, to be fair, she's definitely going to be viable on other affinities, earlier stages on the Fire Knight, to help you get through there with the 3 hitter and some good support. So yeah, that's the A1. A2, Holy Blood, places a block debuffs on all allies for 1 turn, and 15% continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. So this is really cool. You can book it down from 4 to 3, 4 turns cooldown to 3, which only takes the 1 book. I did actually put 2 books in her hoping to get this. Unfortunately I didn't. It's probably her best ability, to be fair, in my opinion. That is, you've got block debuffs, which is great. It's only for 1 turn, but again, if you take the right masteries, you can increase that somewhat, or have a chance to increase that, I should say. There's no guarantee. And then you've got a 15% continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. That is great. That really helps with healing and keeping people alive. And on her A1, obviously, she's tearing buffs off of enemies when she's hitting them, so that's pretty cool too. So we look at her A3, Sacrificial Lamb, attacks 1 enemy, has a 75% chance. This book's up to 100, by the way, of transferring all debuffs from this champion to the target. Removes all debuffs from all allies except this champion. So obviously you book that up to 100 anyway, all your debuffs are going to be taken off. Her debuffs are going to go to the enemy she's just hit, which is really cool, because, you know, if you've been hit with poisons, decrease attack, decrease crit rate, decrease defense, any of these things, at decreased speed even, she can go throw those back on a targeted enemy, as well as stripping all the debuffs off of your team, which is really cool. And like I say, it books out to 100%. It's on a 5 turn cooldown, can be booked down to 4. You get it running fast. This will come around quicker than you think anyway. And yeah, it's a really cool ability. I've just not quite worked out the best place to use it as of yet myself. I've been playtesting her all day, and she's interesting, but she's not god tier in my opinion. But as a sort of good solid support, she's good. Obviously she brings you heals, she brings block debuffs. I kind of feel that she would have been better off with something like a block damage instead of a block debuffs, because obviously the whole point of her other abilities is to take debuffs and push them back onto the enemy. I mean, you could look at it that a whole kit is about keeping debuffs off your team, one way or another. Either she stops them from coming onto you in the first place, or she takes them off you and gets rid of them. So either way, you could look at it that way, I suppose, but I don't know, I kind of feel that this ability would have more use if the A2, rather than being a block debuffs, was something else really useful, like shields, or maybe even increasing the heal to 2 continuous heals for 2 turns, something like that, and maybe a little something extra. But yeah, I just feel that would have been slightly more better thought out, but it depends. She's still a very good champion, still very useful, and I'm sure many people will find lots of places to use her. She's obviously going to hammer uses in the Doom Tower with this sort of abilities, you know, being able to pull buffs off, debuffs off of you and put them onto the enemy and stuff. If you're struggling to get through some of those waves, that could possibly really help you get stuff off, keep stuff off. And then a boot, she's got an increased ally accuracy in Doom Tower battles by 55. That's huge. And obviously we all know that accuracy in the Doom Tower, especially if you're going for hard, is a big deal. You need really high accuracy, so to have her in your lead, giving everyone that extra 55 accuracy, that is a massive boost, and it's going to really help you. I don't know if it's the highest in the game, but it certainly is very high, and she's an epic champion, so very useful, very good. So now let's take a look at artifacts, and as per usual, I've tried to gear her as low as possible. Yes, she's got a few legendary pieces. No, everything's not rolled up. This is done somewhat intentionally, well, for 2 reasons to be fair, which I'll get into in a second. So first off, again, she does have 1 6-star piece. As a mitigation for this, some of this gear is not fully rolled up, so it gives you a better idea. Unfortunately, it was the only piece I had with accuracy that would work on her, so I had to use it. The other reason I've got like 4 pieces here that aren't rolled up, I maybe would have gone for 2, was the fact that, quite frankly, I'm running out of silver as always. So you know, it's hard when you're trying to gear champions, and I've just geared 2 new champions in a few days for these guides for you all. So yeah, my silver reserves are really depleted, and I'm actually struggling with the event that's now out because of it. But I mean, in hindsight, maybe I should have waited, but I wanted to get the guides done and get them out there ASAP, so that if people pulled her, they had some idea of where she'd be useful and what you could do with her and all the rest of it as soon as possible. Especially since, as of the time of me doing this, I don't believe anybody else has a guide out on her. So, you know, that's one of the reasons I wanted to do it nice and quick and get it out there. So, obviously, she is going to be using the Doom Tower. Now, I've probably gone a bit overkill with her accuracy, to be fair. You could probably bring this down somewhat. But she's also usable in the arena. So, I've actually managed to... well, actually, we'll take a look at her total stats before we go in how I've built her, or they sort of really show you anyway. 56,000 health. Good solid health pool. She starts off with 20k anyway, so that's pretty good. Attack's only 1.2. I've not worried about attack stats or DPS on her at all. Defense is 2,700. It's not bad, but it's not amazing. I mean, she's got a fairly healthy starting defense for an epic at 1,100. But I felt that her health sort of scaled better, so I've worked more on that whilst getting some defense as well. Speed, we wanted her going fast. The whole point is you wanted her to constantly be ticking round and getting buffs up and being able to strip debuffs and everything. So we've got her at 228. Obviously, for the hard Doom Tower, you're wanting to even push speeds even higher than that. I'm not on the hard Doom Tower. I don't have the gear to quite go there yet. So for me, it's not such a big deal. This is pretty solid for the arena, since she's going to be following other champs. You know, you're going to have a speed booster and stuff like that. So 228 is a good solid speed. It's going to do you well for all the dungeons that you might use her in. It's going to do you really well for faction wars. It's not bad to aim for that. I've gone for 0 crit rate, or at least not putting any crit rate on her. Same for crit damage. I've not worried about damage at all. I must admit, I actually misread her A3 thinking that didn't do any damage. is part of the reason for this. It turns out it does, obviously, but still, she's a support champion. I don't feel that she's really built for damage. She's built as a support champion, so it doesn't really matter. Debuff resistance, you could build her with a load of resistance, so that you're then just putting out buffs and trying to keep and like obviously when your team get debuffs, she's not going to get them. So even things like fears, sleeps, freezes, she could then strip all that off your team. It kind of negates her other abilities a little bit if you do that. You know, the fact that she can put debuffs onto enemies if they're on her, if you put the resistance high. So I chose not to go that route, but you could quite easily go that route, and there's an argument to be made for it. As with any cleanser, to be honest, you've got good. So it's not a high debuff resistance. I really could do with maybe putting that higher, to be fair. But she also brings her own block debuffs, so she's not necessarily going to be taking buffs. We've got a nice healthy 407 accuracy. So you put her in the lead, you're going to bump that up by another 55, so that's really cool. So as you can see, we've concentrated on health, some defense, speed and accuracy being the main things that we've pushed for on her. So with that, we'll go on to her masteries. So I've gone down the support tree for the obvious reason that I want to boost her accuracy and get her accurate for all the places she's going to be used. So we've got accuracy into more accuracy. We've gone for speeding her up when buffs she places, like increasing her turn meter by 10% when a buff she casts is removed or expires. She does cast that one turn block debuffs and also the 2 turn continuous heal, so that's a good one for her and helping keep her move even faster and getting around to her abilities. We've gone for cycle and magic again, just to reduce the cooldown on some of those abilities to get heals up and all the rest of it more often. Because the heals and the block debuffs are very useful, it made sense to go for lasting gifts. You've got a chance of increasing the duration of the block debuffs and the continuous heal, to be fair, but more the block debuffs because that's only up for 1 turn. So it made real sense to try and push over there. Laura Steel to increase any basics that she's got on her. Then we've gone Sniper. Now obviously you don't need Sniper for the A3 if you've fully booked it out, but since I haven't at the moment, and it's still going to help with her A1, you know, that chance to remove buffs from enemies either way, so Sniper helps with that, and it gets us down to Eagle Eye to give her the plus 50 accuracy. We've gone defense tree with defense, mitigating AoE damage, getting heals if the enemy heals up, increases the amount of healing and the value of shield buffs this champion receives. She obviously puts a continuous heal out there. As far as I'm aware, I don't think coming down things like this increases the value of heals this champion casts, because she's not strictly speaking casting a heal like say Apothecary. If I'm wrong with that, please somebody let me know. I'd really appreciate to know that. But as far as I'm aware, the continuous heal is a basic set thing, and it's ticking away doing its work. It's not the same as a heal you cast on somebody and instantly heal them up. So I didn't think these would benefit or be useful. So what we have done is taken this one though, because it will still increase on her at least the benefit of the continuous heal. We've done that one, and then obviously mitigating damage from a specific target, and then a chance to counter attack if she loses X amount of health, which again obviously means that she's then running at people and got more chances to remove buffs, so it kind of makes sense. There's many ways you could build this champion. This is just the way I've trialled, and it seems to work fairly well for her, but there are many ways based on whatever gear, who you're using her with, all the rest of it. So we'll go straight off to take her into some content. And we'll start off with the arena. Now the arena is obviously a very cool place for her. We want somebody who's going to be placing debuffs, not buffs. So the problem with this one is that she obviously can't remove debuffs if she's frozen, feared and the like, so it doesn't work so well, and like I say, unless you boost her resistance or put her in an immunity set, which actually, again, if you can get her accuracy up high enough for what you want to use for it, depends if you want to use her in the arena as well. An immunity set on her might be a good idea, because then obviously people like Jack come out, throw fears, it's not going to land on you. You can, but the idea is if you're putting her with, you're going first anyway, she goes first, she puts up the block debuffs, and you're not going to get any of that stuff anyway, so it's kind of either or. But we'll take a look at this team. They're a bit weaker than us, but they've got sleeps, they've got stuns, and they've got fear, so let's take a look. We'll take out Warlord. Where is she? There she is. So obviously we come in with Hegemon, when I remember his name, and we didn't really block too many people out. We managed one stun, one block, not ideal, but we're a lot faster than this team. They might even be a bit bot team, to be fair, looking at it now. But we come in, we put these up. We don't really need the continuous heal so much, that's not, but we're putting the block debuffs up so that they can't then come along and stunners or anything else. Try and take their healer out. Got no buffs to take. Okay, so she got feared. That's not great. I probably could have just killed them both with an AoE there, but I wanted to sort of show what she can do here. As if the fear doesn't proc, but we'll see. So there you go. We've just put Jack's own true fear back on him, along with anything else, and stripped all the debuffs off of our team. So that is really useful. Obviously, like I say, it can work with fears. It's not going to work if you're stunned, but obviously fear has a chance to proc, at which point there's nothing you can really do about that one, unfortunately. I mean, for all I know, she might have that chance to put it on him anyway, and if she does, she doesn't get feared, and if she doesn't, she does. I don't know. I doubt it works that way, to be honest, though. I'd be surprised. Poisons and debuff stripper. Try and find a good team that put out a lot of debuffs, but not really. It's mostly teams that do lots of buffs more than debuffs. Okay, well, we'll have a look at this one. They're a similar team power to me. Full team of legendaries. Possibly another bot team. They're not very fast by the looks of it, although yeah, we're way faster. So now we'll knock this up. Go for the AoE. Managed to kill a couple of them. The fact that that Rosh card went down so easy, I do think that this has got to be a bot team as well. Right, so we've got these heal reductions on us. We might as well just showcase that A3 again. So she's removed all those. So we've not found the best teams. We'll refresh one more time, see if we can find one. Well, you got Richtoft here. Decrease defense, decrease defense. Freezes. We'll try this one. Richtoft puts out poison, so it'll be a good one to show you quickly. And then we'll move on. So we've got Frozen already. We'll put the block debuffs up and the heals. Somebody's there obviously in a frost set, so Edgy got frozen when he hit everybody. So the block debuffs did their job there. He's really not obliging and putting any of these debuffs on us, is he? I've given him plenty of opportunity, but either way, you can see the benefit of the continuous heal, the benefit of the block debuffs, and you've seen the cleanse, AoE cleanse, plus sticking buffs from yourself onto other champions. It's very useful. She's very useful for things like that in the Doom Tower. I've still not quite worked out where she's going to be best in the Doom Tower, whether it be on waves or if there's a particular boss that she'll be really useful with. I did try her on the Magma Dragon today and she wasn't brilliant. I mean, the block debuffs was handy I suppose, but then I was already running Warlord there, so if you haven't got somebody else who's doing block debuffs for you, she can certainly come in and she'll bring a heal as well, so you know, that's big. If you ain't got somebody, God tier and all the rest of it, she can still do some real work like that. Now dungeon wise, we'll have a quick look at the dungeons. Obviously faction war, she's going to be great for you if you haven't got any decent support there, although they do have some fairly decent support in that faction, I believe. Ice Golems, she's okay, but you know, she's the right affinity and everything, but doesn't really bring too much to the table other than the continuous heal. And I'm not sure if anybody there throws debuffs on you, to be fair. Spider, again, I wouldn't really use her there personally. Fire Knights with a triple hit, she's got possibilities, and quite frankly she's actually really good in the dragon, as we will quickly show you now, and that will be the last. So let's show you what she does here. So obviously there you go, she's put up the continuous heal, the block debuffs. Obviously, like Tyrell there, he puts out decreased defense. Not that he's getting a chance to. I do apologise for the yawning, I'm really quite tired. I've just finished a 12-hour shift. So here on the dragon is where she really shines, because she can put up the block debuffs and the continuous heal, so you're not taking any debuffs from the dragon. Or if you do manage to take debuffs from the dragon, like poisons and stuff, when she can cleanse those off of your team, and any she's got herself, she has a chance to put back on the dragon, which I actually had happen earlier, which was pretty cool. So obviously she's then helping do even more damage to the dragon with his own poisons against himself, so that's pretty cool. And obviously she's getting a lot of boosted turn meter because of all these debuffs coming off. So as you see, my fastest time is 1:31, and having her in there does not hurt at all. In fact, it probably helps, but like I say, she is very useful there. So, you know, she's got so many uses in the game. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to big her up and blow smoke up your behinds. She's not the most amazing champ out there. She's not an S tier champion in my books. She's middle of the pack. She's going to do work for you in various places, and she's going to be very situational where she's going to be useful for you. You're going to bring her in if you're lacking for faction wars. She's definitely going to help. She's definitely going to help me. I was already lacking there, and obviously that helps you on stages where you've got to use her faction in Doom Tower for secret rooms and stuff like that. She's also going to help you on other stages, I think, in the Doom Tower where you're struggling and you can you're getting all these debuffs taking you down and stuff like that. She'll help remove that stuff, stop you getting it in the first place. That accuracy lead is huge. Just running her for that, if nothing else, could be a big help in the Doom Tower itself. And then, you know, she's good in dragons, really good, I think, and she can do okay but not brilliant in ice golems. And again, Fire Knight, she's the wrong affinity, but she's going to do some work for you. She's going to be picking people up, she's going to be blocking the debuffs, because none of that stuff is affected by affinity anyway. And then she's still got a triple hit to help get that shield down. So all in all, she's a really solid champion. She's just not S tier. But not every champion should be S tier, and it doesn't mean you should ignore her. She's definitely worth looking at, and looking at, do you need her in your roster when doing the various content that I've mentioned. Anyway, I hope you've really enjoyed this video. I don't want to drag it out any longer than it already is. Have a playtest with her yourself if you've got her. See what you think. Let me know what you think. Was I totally wrong about her? Was I spot on? You know, did this help you at all? I'd really like some feedback on that. Anyway, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button to see more content from myself, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.